I know you're there. Come on out. There. That's better. Much easier to see in this infernal darkness with fire, don't you think? Now, what is a human doing here near my forest? Have you lost your way? Did something lead you here, perhaps? Or more accurately, someone? It matters not, I suppose. What's far more important is that you, another human, found your way here. Come, walk through the forest with me. Oh, come now. Just because I have red skin and can make fire with the snap of my fingers doesn't make me evil. My name is Jessie. And you are? Thank you. And might I add, that is an interesting name. It feels familiar somehow. But who am I kidding? With the number of humans there are, I'm sure there's more than 1,000 of just about every name out there. Anyways, while I have you here, how about you take a trip with me? Where? Through the Flickering forest. Where else? The Flickering forest, my domain, is quite the interesting area. It's a beautiful sight, if I do say so myself. I know the outside doesn't do it justice, but as to keep certain things out, wouldn't want them to ruin the experience for my visitors. Besides, I think it's much better to take everyone on a personalized tour rather than a general one. Regardless, are you coming? Come on, it'll be fun. Please. Please. Great. Now, if you don't mind. There we go. Thought you'd never come in. Now, shall we? Alright, you don't know where to go. Here, take my hand. I'll guide you through here. Stay close. It's easy to get lost in the fog. And let me know if you like some fire to warm you up. It gets cold here at times. So, tell me about yourself. I imagine however you arrived here wasn't a very exciting experience, but I assure you that this place is nothing like the abyss. I see. Oh, is that true? Got it. I see. I suppose that makes sense. Be it the thrill of adventure, making ends meet, or attempting to start a new life. Sometimes drastic changes are required. Even something so drastic as sailing out to sea with looming clouds over the horizon. But suppose you didn't leave. How do you think life would have gone? Do you wish you made a different choice? Who am I kidding? You find yourself at the bottom of the abyss. Of course you would have made some different choices. But let's say you didn't find yourself here. You found yourself on the voyage and making it back home, or in some strange land. What then? No need to tell me. Just think about it while you're here. Perhaps the forest will give you some clarity. Oh dear, I was meaning to prune that tree, 'cause my horns did it for me. What's the matter? You look pale as a ghost. See something in the distance. Something stalking us. Eyes in the dark. I see. Pay them no mind. They won't hurt you. At least as long as I'm here. What are they? That, my friend, is a secret. I'll tell you later, I promise. Here we are, the center of the forest. This is the only place where you can clearly see the sky. Lie down on the grass and look at the stars. Lying down is such a pain with the tail. Always gets in the way. I could never get sick of this sight. The stars twinkle and dance across the night sky as the night goes on. If you look hard enough, you can see stories unfold as they glide across the sky. Ah, there, you see it? Orion, the hunter. That's his belt, his glove, shield. Yup, right there. You know, every time I see him, it always feels like he's running away. Be it from Scorpio or the arrows that brought his downfall. He runs from the winter sky to the daylight, where his problems just fade into nothingness. But you know, I always wondered, what if he didn't run away? What if he ran towards his problems, faced the scorpion and its sting, braved the flurry of arrows? What do you think? I suppose it's far more accurate with what happened. You probably have a better idea, since you're human and I am, well, a demon. Humans are quite strange for that. So many problems, and yet most falter and run from them, distracting themselves. I wonder what would happen if they faced them. Would they find life more unbearable? Would it be more worthwhile? So many questions. How about you? With all the problems you had, if you faced them in earnest, could you have conquered them? And if not, would you have learned something valuable from it? Facing one's problems is quite the ordeal, at least for a human anyhow. With such a short life, it is a wonder you face any at all. Take pride in what you faced. Don't feel ashamed of what you didn't. You're human, after all. Or at least, that's what someone told me a long time ago. Another thing I love about the sky is the moon. You can barely see it now, just a sliver as it renews itself, turning to take a look at the same sky we watch, and then turning back to us, softly drifting like a boat in an ocean. Oh, I'm sorry. I suppose that must be a sore subject for you. There are many stories about the moon, some intriguing, some quite silly, but I have my own story, if you're willing to listen. Once upon a time, back when the night was empty, when no light shone upon it, and all would stumble and lose themselves in the darkness, there was an angel. Now, this angel, as with most others, did not care for those below, least of all demons. He was a stubborn old coot who simply did his job. One day, the angel met a demon as he was grumbling about his job. "How are you this fine night?" "Begone. I've no time for you. I'm too busy." "What if I could help you finish your job faster?" "As if a demon could help me." "And if I could?" What would they ask of me? Nothing. I merely wish to help. A demon? Wanting to help just to help. Now I've heard everything. Come on, what have you to lose? I cannot take anything from you. Your wings are torn. You've no access back from whence you came. All you have is a task. And how exactly do you plan to help? You see, the night sky, it's so drab. No light comes from it. Most can hardly find their way without any light. You could keep doing your job all day and then turn to find out it was undone. But what if there were some lights, some things to guide? These things would be lost as you go about your work. And where exactly do you plan to find these lights? Why? From you, of course. You gather many lost things. Some shine very brightly. If you would give them to me, never. That would leave my job incomplete forever. You misunderstand. I would only keep them until they are the only ones that remain. Then I will give them back. And how can I trust your word? How can you trust anyone's word? Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do to prove my intents. But I do intend to help. No. Now be gone. All right, but I shall be back tomorrow. Yes, I do suppose it was quite rude, but angels and demons don't usually get along, so he was far more polite than most I've met. Now, where was I? Yes. And so, the angel and demon talked for a long time. Sometimes, the demon would even help in gathering lost things alongside their angelic counterpart. But the demon would never steal them or hide them, but instead would give all that was found to the angel. One day, the angel finally decided to agree to the plan, and so they set off, collecting the brightest things they could find. Some glistened as gemstones, others radiated as the sun, and some softly glowed as lanterns in the distance. And some were so faint, they looked like eyes in the dark, stalking their prey. All right, I won't tease you anymore, I promise. Anyways, as I gather them, together they place them, one by one, into the night sky. Each light, each star, was allowed to flow freely to whichever spot it so desired, until the entire sky was full of lights. Though the lights were vast and many in number, they could only shine so brightly against the sky. Sadly did the demon look upon it, mourning the time spent on their long project. But the angel looked upon it with pride and offered one more light, one bright enough to shine in the night sky just as brightly as the sun did in the day. The light was his own. Thoroughly did the demon beg the angel not to do so, or without his light, he could no longer accomplish his duty. Heartily did the angel laugh and said, "Well then, I suppose you'll have to help me out." And so it was for a long time. The two searched together. Eventually, they planted a forest so that the demon could place the lost objects and the angel could retrieve them. One day, the angel disappeared, but still the demon continued, hoping for his return. The light from the stars and moon, once so clear throughout the forest, flickered and sputtered out as a thick fog grew, and the trees laden heavy with boughs. It soon became so cluttered that all would have difficulty finding their way in it, never mind living or retrieving things. What was that? Yes, I guess the demon would have felt very lonely. Have you ever had a long friend who you never got to see again? I see. Thank you for sharing that. It's not a pleasant experience, losing close friends, especially when you have no idea if you'll ever meet again. As for our story, the angel never returned. Time passed, and the demon lost hope that the angel would come back. Until one day, another angel appeared. This angel was young, healthy, and diligent, the picture of perfection, hardily and hasty, collecting until she reached the forest. Now, the angel was a very knowledgeable one, and she knew of the forest's purpose and the demon that roamed them. When the two met, excitedly did they greet each other. The demon at once began work to empty the forest. But, as the demon did, they found themselves slowly getting tired, weakening. The forest had become a part of them, but still they continued onwards to honor their promise. I do suppose angels and demons getting old and tired is quite strange. From a human's perspective, we live forever, but for us, it feels like no time at all. Unfortunately, the demon found that some of the things they pleased continued to be lost in the forest, dancing along its leafy grounds and foggy air as light, trembling and shivering in the cold murkiness that befilled their temporary home. The angel, ever kind, ever gentle, understood the demon's plight and would collect less and less from the forest. As their visits became scarce, the demon, still wanting to help, made an offer. The brightest of the lost items she could collect would come here, and the demon would use them to search the forest. Sometimes, they would return with a bountiful harvest. Other times, they did empty-handed. And so it was. The demon still searches as the angel collects, the pair meeting in front of the old forest that was planted. What happened to them? I can't tell you that. I'd be spoiling the mystery. What do you think will happen? Thank you for telling me, though. You know what I think? I think it eventually ends in a certain distinctive human coming in and talking with a demon. Why? Oh, for no particular reason. Alright, we can lay here all night. My tail will have pins and needles. I suppose I should lead you out. You like a place to sleep? I guess I could show you my home and lend you a bed. No, she definitely won't be pleased. Oh, it was nothing. Don't worry about it. Let's head to my house. It's not far from here. Still got the feeling of being watched, huh? Would you like me to carry you back? It's okay. No need to worry about pride or little old me. The walk is quite far, so if I can make it easier for you, then I suppose I should. Do you? Alright, then let's just... There we are. I suppose I should be grateful that I have the strength of a demon, At my age, I can barely lift a tenth of what I did in my prime. Does it feel better to be held in my arms? I'm glad. You feel warm. That must be the wisps. They are my little, helpers, you see. If you look closely, you can watch them dance and hear them sing. Fireflies on a summer eve. Huh. I guess they do look like that. And their song, the sweet symphony of children's laughter. They seem to really like you. That makes you a very special human. They just don't flock to anyone, you see. Here we are, my humble abode, right in the middle of the Sherman tree. What a strange name for it you humans have. Ah, home sweet home. I hope you don't mind the smell. I'm quite fond of lavender. Make yourself at home. Oh, you've fallen asleep in my arms. Guess the rocking was soothing for you, and the wisps warmer than the comfiest blanket. Here, let me tuck you in. Rest well, human. When you awake, you will have to find your own way out of the forest. Do not fear the eyes in the dark. They merely wish to follow you out. And do cling tightly to the wisps. They too wish to leave. Be this your first, last, or one of many trials you go through. Good night, human. Sweet dreams. There you are. I was worried you wouldn't come out. I hope it was not scary. I know the forest can be quite daunting for many to get out of. But you found your way out. And look, in your hair, you took some things from the forest with you. Here, let me just... There. A crown of daffodils. I thought I'd never see this again. Thank you for bringing it to me. I know you probably didn't realize it was there, but thank you nonetheless. Anyways, the demon in there were quite the strange one, weren't they? They mean well. At least, I think they do. What did you do in there? I see. Well, I'm glad that they were able to help you rest, even if only a little. Come on, we've a long way to go.